Have you ever imagined a place where time seems frozen, leaving behind traces of life that now only whisper among crumbling red bricks? In the rural parts of Georgia, United States, this phenomenon is real. We're not talking about a Hollywood horror film, but the harsh reality of towns that were once thriving and are now slowly disappearing from the map. From once grand former capitals to cotton trade hubs now silenced, Georgia hides secrets behind buildings worn down and covered in creeping vines. Why were these places abandoned? And what secrets do they keep behind those tightly locked wooden doors? Today, we'll step into a time capsule, exploring 15 forgotten towns in Georgia that hold tragic stories of progress, collapse, and the loyalty that remained. Let's begin this journey in a place with a big name, Louisville. It may be hard to believe when looking at its silence today, but between 1796 and 1806, this town served as the capital of the state of Georgia. Yes, it was designed to be the center of political power, but fate had other plans. When a malaria epidemic struck and population centers shifted west, Louisville began to fade. One of the most iconic yet haunting remnants here is the Old Market. This open wooden structure built in 1795 once served as a marketplace for everything, from produce to the dark history of the slave trade. For some visitors, standing here now brings an eerie feeling. You can sense the heavy weight of history. While Louisville is not entirely empty, the atmosphere in its older parts reflects the fall of a small kingdom now reduced to a footnote in history books. Moving slightly east, we find Bartow. If you're looking for a true definition of a ghost town, Bartow fits the bill. The town was named after Colonel Francis Bartow, the first Confederate soldier to die in the Civil War. But it wasn't the war that killed this town, it was the economy. In 1920, the town had nearly 600 residents, but the latest data shows a steep decline to just around 186 people. Walking through its downtown feels like stepping onto a post-apocalyptic film set. You can easily see rows of brick shops with peeling paint and broken windows. The old train depot that once buzzed with life now stands empty, home only to dust. Interestingly, the average age of residents here is nearing 60. That means this is a town aging quietly, simply waiting for time to fold it back into nature. From Bartow, the next town feels equally still in its fate. Welcome to Kite. The town's name has a unique backstory. It comes from Shadrach Knight, a generous man who donated his land. But at his own request, the spelling was changed to Kite, so postal workers could sort the mail more easily. Ironically, now almost no mail arrives here except for bills or old advertisements. Yes, Kite is a real portrait of rural isolation. With a poverty rate of over 36%, the town struggles to survive. What makes it intriguing is its old gas station that still has antique pumps. It's a rare sight in modern America. To see this town is to witness how a community tries to hold on to its identity, even as the economic data paints a grim picture, including a low safety index. If Kite feels quiet because of age, Wadley feels quiet because of wounds. Located in Jefferson County, Wadley looks like a town that just came through a battle. And in some ways, That's true. This town is often hit by storms and hurricanes that leave lasting damage on its old buildings. Many once grand Georgia-style homes now lie in ruins, with collapsed roofs and trees growing through living room floors. The education sector here also carries sorrow. Its high school building now stands abandoned, a monument to failing infrastructure. The poverty rate here is very high, around 24.5%. As you drive through its main streets, you'll see a sharp contrast between the remains of past prosperity and the harsh reality of the present. Moving on to Midville, a town that was once a vital cotton trade center. Because of its location at a key railroad junction, Midville used to be a shining star. But as the steam rail industry died and transportation shifted to major highways, Midville began to fade. Its downtown still has rows of beautiful building facades, but if you peek behind the doors, all you'll find are dark, empty spaces. This town stands as an example of how transportation technology can change the fate of a place in just a matter of decades. Replacing the hustle and bustle of the cotton trade, we arrive in Chauncey. This town represents a place built entirely on one industry: timber. In the late 19th century, it was a very busy town with massive sawmills processing Georgia pine to be shipped across the country. But Chauncey's history is a story of exhausted resources. When the surrounding forests were fully cut and the timber industry moved elsewhere, Chauncey had no plan B. Today, we can still see remnants of that golden era architecture, including rows of commercial buildings that once served thousands of workers. Now, Chauncey is a quiet place where nature is slowly creeping back into the town center, covering the traces of an industry that once fed thousands. We now enter one of the towns with the most unique names, Ideal. Unfortunately, this town's condition is far from its name. Ideal was founded by a man named Philip Nelson, who believed the location was ideal for farming and living. But history had other plans. Crop failures and wave after wave of economic crises shrank Ideal's population down to just a handful of people. The buildings here look more fragile than those in other towns. Many wooden structures are already leaning and at risk of collapse. Seeing Ideal is a lesson in human hope, how a place named with such optimism could end up as a symbol of economic despair. Still, for urban photographers, Ideal is a visual paradise with its beautifully textured decay. Not far from there, Byromville greets us with remnants of its railroad glory. In the early 20th century, the sound of train whistles was part of everyday life for its residents. Now, the tracks may still be there, but the heartbeat has stopped. Its tiny downtown still holds solid building structures, but there's no business activity. An interesting fact about Byromville is its connection to Georgia's cotton industry. When the boll weevil pest wiped out cotton crops across the South in the 1920s, towns like Byromville lost everything overnight. It's a reminder of how vulnerable a town can be when it relies on a single industry. Today, Byromville is an open-air museum of an agricultural golden age long gone. Lilly might be one of the smallest towns in Georgia, Its population often doesn't even reach 100 people, according to various census records. Being in Lilly feels like standing in someone's backyard. Very intimate, but very quiet. What stands out most about this town is its silence. There's almost no sound of engines or human activity. It feels like the whole town is holding its breath. Many homes are already being reclaimed by nature. Vines cover the walls and even the roofs, creating an eerie green silhouette as night falls. Yes, Lilly is the definition of nature taking its land back. Unlike other towns that look destroyed, Parrott actually appears a bit more well-kept. Why? Because this town is a favorite among Hollywood location scouts. Thanks to its well-preserved historic buildings, Parrott is often used as a film location for settings from the 1920s to the 1950s. One notable film shot here was The Long Riders, released in 1980. But don't be fooled. Even though it often appears in movies economically, Parrott is still a ghost town. Most of the shops on its main street are empty properties that only come alive when the cameras start rolling. This is a town living in pretense, a permanent film set mourning the loss of its original population. Parrott proves that visual charm doesn't always go hand in hand with economic prosperity. Meanwhile, Richland is a larger town compared to Lilly or Kite, but its scale makes the decay feel even more dramatic. Here, you'll find two-story buildings with beautiful wrought iron balconies, an architectural style that hints at the wealth this town once had. Unfortunately, Richland is now full of hollow buildings. Many structures look intact from the outside, but if you step inside, the roofs are gone, allowing rain and sunlight to ruin the interiors. Richland shows what happens when a town loses its middle class. The grand buildings remain standing, but no one can afford to maintain them. Cusseta has a slightly different story. As part of a larger region, this town lasted longer than many other small towns, thanks to its manufacturing industry. But when factories began closing or moving overseas in the late 20th century, Cusseta started to lose its breath. Its uniqueness lies in its abandoned public infrastructure. You can find old government offices and public facilities with locked doors and stacks of old newspapers piled outside. Cusseta is a symbol of Georgia's version of the Rust Belt, a working-class town that ran out of work. Meanwhile, Oglethorpe is where we can see the remnants of past grandeur. The town is filled with large, majestic Victorian-style houses. In the past, living in Oglethorpe was a symbol of social status. But now, those houses look like haunted mansions from classic fairy tales. Kudzu vines, often called the plant that ate the South, have covered many of the structures here. Seeing a grand Victorian home completely engulfed in greenery gives off a feeling that's both mystical and heartbreaking. Oglethorpe teaches us that even the highest luxury will eventually bow to time if no hands are there to preserve it. While the previous towns are dying, Wrightsboro is a town that's already truly dead and turned into legend. Founded in 1768 by a Quaker community, Wrightsboro was once a thriving settlement with hundreds of residents. But due to their pacifist principles and refusal to fight during the American Revolution, the town began to lose influence. The final blow came when the railroad bypassed it in favor of a neighboring town, leaving Wrightsboro abandoned. Today, Wrightsboro is a haunting archaeological site. All that remains is a 19th century Methodist church and an old cemetery filled with weather-worn headstones. Being here carries a unique atmosphere, a silence that feels both sacred and unsettling. We end this journey in Preston. As a county seat, Preston should be a busy place. But when you stand in front of its neoclassical courthouse, a chilling quiet surrounds you. Preston is the perfect closing chapter because it embodies all the issues of Georgia's ghost towns: dependence on history, an aging population, and a downtown that's slowly dying. While there's still some minor administrative activity, Preston feels more like a monument than a living community. It stands as a final reminder on our journey that even law and order cannot hold back the cruel tide of changing times. Our journey through rural Georgia has shown us a different side of America's progress. These towns are not just collections of crumbling bricks and broken wood. They are silent witnesses to human dreams that once burned bright, only to fade for reasons often beyond anyone's control. From shifting economies to the blows of nature, each town offers a lesson in the fragility of civilization. As we look at the empty buildings in Bartow or feel the stillness in Louisville, a reflective question arises. In a world moving at the speed of light, are we building something that will truly last? Or are we simply creating the next generation's ghost towns? What will remain of our own cities 100 years from now?